Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Dr. Tony Chopper, and this is part 2 of the review for the Master Grade Wing Gundam Proto Zero. In this part, we're going to see how all of these limbs and accessories, weapons and whatnot, actually look up close. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, starting off, we have the leg right here. Now, the leg is relatively simple. There's a whole bunch of white on it, but there are some gray accent parts that actually come through that are from the inner frame, so that's good. In terms of movement and articulation, we get a little bit up here. This moves all around 360, and this can go 180 to either side to connect to the hip. There's actually a little bit of panel lining right here on the thigh area, which is good. We also get separating knee armor here and a 180-degree bend. That looks good from this angle, but if you look further up, this looks terrible. Seems like they forgot to put in armor right here, or have the armor slide up further. So this may be old tech that they just didn't decide to release yet. Kinda disappointing. Now, moving down over here, we have a moving ankle guard. And also this part, I've noticed there's some problems with this already. This can go further up like this, and it can go as far back as this part will allow it to. Moving side to side, it does an okay job. In terms of being able to point its toes forward, there isn't any articulation for that, but you can point it completely down, but that's for the transformation. There is a gray thruster down at the bottom, which is good, I suppose. And in terms of slight articulation bits that you may miss, this part actually latches into place. You can move it back and forth. That's with transformation, so you want to keep it down in that mode. Also, this part can move up, and like so. And also, there's a mechanism in the ankle right here where you can move it up, but you want to keep it down to keep it transformed. Now, moving up to the waist armor, we have 3 different colors, the colors of America: white, red, and the blue. We also have gray thrown in there for good measure, and each of these parts does have the gray inner frame, so that looks pretty decent. Over here, the front part is just one solid white part on each of the front skirts. The side skirts are a little bit different. They have a little bit of construction, and this part actually moves open. You can see some of that gray coming through again, and here as well. And it's really strange how they made it, because instead of just having these ball joints or whatever stuck on, they actually have a ball joint and a hinge mechanism, so you can actually move these. Hopefully I can show you guys up and down ever so slightly like that. And same with these ones over here. Of course, you can move these all around, and yeah, hopefully they don't interfere with each other too much when we're trying to pose the kit when it's all put together. Now here is the arm and shoulder unit. I chose to put it together because if it's just the arm, it's really lame, and if it's just the shoulder, it's whatever. So, in terms of what it looks pretty good. It has a whole bunch of different colors. It has the red, white, blue, and the yellow, so it looks really cool. While constructing this, though, it was a little bit difficult. There's a whole bunch of little small pieces and whatnot, and the ones I want to tell you about the most is these ones down here. I think it's like the E2 and the E3 pieces. Those are a pain in the butt because they are actually just a small gray piece that you slap in. If you lose it, it's gone forever. I was hoping for an inner frame of some sort on the inside a little bit, but there isn't much of one. Disappointing there. In terms of articulation, though, we have this part. This compartment actually opens up where you can put the beam sabers. Also, you can move the blue part up a little bit as well, and that can fall out. Down here we have a panel that moves a little bit, and if you can see down inside there, this part isn't just the single piece that goes across like that, it's actually a block. And we also have a thruster. This can move back and forth as well, and yeah, the whole thing, I don't know. Moving along, we have this part. This goes 360, and it can go up and down a little bit. Now, this white piece, the construction of this was a little bit funky, in my opinion. And again, I haven't built that many wing kits anyways, only built the Tall so far. In terms of articulation, though, we're getting, yeah, not a 180-degree bend. A little bit disappointing. Also, the blue right here, we have a gaping hole, and this is where you can put in the shield. Down here we have these standard swappable finger manipulators. So you know what that is all about. You have the moving thumb and the backing like that. All you do is take these out. I have the closed fist ones in there right now. And also this gray part actually doesn't stay inside at all. Once you take it out, it will go with it. You actually have to plug it in for it to stay in place. In terms of different manipulators, you saw the closed hands before. We also get an open palm, a trigger finger, and also a beam saber holding or shield holding one. So you have technically 4 options times 2, so 8 different manipulators that you can put in the hands. So quite a bit of options there. Alright, here is the chest unit, or the upper torso. At first glance, it is very, very colorful. You have yellow, gray, some of that blue, green, and red, and also that white up top. So it does look very, very colorful. The detail is quite good. In terms of articulation, though, you have this part that moves up and down. That doesn't go side to side at all. And the neck guard, or the neck piece, kind of is loose, so you kind of want to put the head in there for it to not move. In terms of other articulation, though, or gimmicks, we have these parts, the Gatling guns on, on the Vulcans that actually can come out. You can open it up a little bit. You can, when you try to open up the first time, like this, it won't actually move. You actually have to pull it forward a little bit, like pull it up, and then open it up. And then it reveals a nice gray Gatling gun, or Vulcan. And down here, there is a notch where you can put your finger in, and you can rip open the cockpit to show the emotionless Hiro Yui. Close that back up. There's a green sticker that goes inside of this orb area, and this is very, very nice and detailed up, so it looks really cool. In terms of articulation over here, though, if you're expecting anything close to something good, then don't even bother. These remind me of a freaking high grade, and I can't even begin to tell you my disappointment with how these things look. The range of movement is quite terrible, and I really, really, really wish they went with something other than just the like high grade-esque thing over here. It makes me want to cry. Down below we have the waist down here. This moves back and forth, and also can go forward and back like that. This piece is all the way through red, and it's just stuck together like the double ball joint in here and here, and it's covered up. So there is that gaping hole in the middle, and you're probably going to see that when you do combine them together. So a little bit of more disappointment in my opinion. And in the back we have the port that you put in the backpack too, or the wings. Here is the beautiful looking head. Now, at first glance you may think, oh, it's only 1 or 2 pieces slapped together, but actually there are quite a few different pieces that make this up. You have 2 halves, and then the top, and then the front, and then you'll figure it out when you actually build it, but it's an extremely intricate thing for just an entire white looking thing. The gray parts do bleed through from the backside, and also the only parts that you get stickers for really on this are pretty much the green for the cameras, the eyes, and also back here. I only chose to put on the stickers for the eyes because the rest of them kind of look funny in my opinion, so I just omitted it. But this actually looks pretty good. The red pops out, and yeah, that chin looks very, very strong. To show you guys the wing binder just like this by itself for the wing unit. Just one of them, you get 2 of these. Now you get quite a few different parts, and it can open up like this. On the inside you have inner frame for just about everything, except these 2 parts look a little strange popping out. This is where it connects to the rest of the connection point. And yeah, in terms of articulation though, there's not too much. One gimmick thing though that you have here is if you move one wing, the other binder actually moves with it, so they're interconnected that way. This part we have a thruster down here, and we also get a little bit of a different part here. This actually sticks out on the one wing, and you can move it out like this, or however else you may choose to place it. But down here there are notches for it, so it does stay in place quite well. And if you close it up, it looks like this. Is the connector that goes onto the back that goes and connects to the wing binders. Now this is where you plug it into the back. decently, at least it looks like a solid connection. I'm not sure yet. But here we have some detail with some thrusters, and right here is where you connect this part to the display base connector. Now, in terms of articulation, though, you have this movement here, and it can go all the way to the front. Of course, when the kit's stuck onto here, it's gonna like hit that and not move. Going up, it can go like that. And down here, this, although it looks like a polycap, it's not. It actually can go all the way forward and back. It's a little hard to show you though. It's actually plastic. Yep, it is plastic. And yeah, it can go all the way up, move down, but it can also go forward like that and can do the same thing. So you have, I guess, quite a few options you can do with this, but you're not going to actually be able to tilt it forward or anything, kind of like how the Tallgeese can position his thruster pods. So you can't be jetting forward like that though. Too bad. Starting us off with some of the accessories, we have the shield. Now we have a full inner frame in the bottom here, and we have a vibrant red and some yellow up here. Here we have a see-through green for this part. There's also a sticker that's supposed to go there. I didn't put it there because it would look ugly. And overall it looks pretty sharp and quite menacing for even just a shield. Now of course this is what you put onto the top for the transformation, for the nose cone or whatever. And there's a little bit of there's movement here. Right here, this moves forward and back like that. Also, there is a kind of like a ratcheting system right here with these parts. You move one, you move them both. Again, looks kind of cool, and it sticks out quite decently. Right here is where you actually plug it into the arms, and this is actually another piece that you slap in there. Overall, it looks pretty good, and everything's molded in color. The red you slap on, that's put on as well. So yeah, looking pretty decent so far for the accessories. In terms of beam sabers, you get 2 of them. You also get 2 green blades that are slightly curved, and they're in this nice, I guess you can say nice, see-through lime green color. That's what I'm calling it. And for a little bit of the detail for just the beam saber handle, you have a heart where you can put in the hand. Also, you can take your shoulder and plug it in there, and it looks a little something like this. You can close it up for storage and whatnot, so it's actually a really cool way to keep your beam sabers hidden from your enemies. And I didn't show this on camera because it is a little bit difficult to get it in just right, but you'll probably get it in eventually, I hope. And now for the Wing Gundam Zero, or the Wing Gundam Proto Zero's most famous weapon, his iconic weapon, is twin buster rifles. Now the left side and the right side are actually quite different. They're constructed a little bit differently. Some things offset each other, like these 2 parts and also these 2 parts. So although a lot of it is the same, there is a little bit of differences. Now let's just look at this one for now. In terms of the looks, we have several different colors on it. We have this darker looking bluish gray, purple. It's kind of hard to describe to you guys. But you also have the normal generic gray. Also this nice vibrant yellow that comes across as well. You have parts like this where you can see kind of like the scope and whatnot. It looks really nice, and that's cool. Now, one problem I did have with this is, if you can see down here, there is a stress mark, and that's because when constructing it, I broke it. This part is actually, well, the way they ask you to construct it is actually having this bottom part up, and it's just a little flimsy thing like that. So until you actually put everything together, it's got to be very, very weak. So be very, very, very careful you don't break it. Although it's not too big of a deal. In terms of moving parts though, this is for when you want to slap it together. You move this open like that, and the other part offsets, you can put it in. Down here, this part actually can move as well, but that's mainly for slapping it in for the transformation. Now, the other one over here, there's moving parts right here. Also, these parts you can put it into the hand with the pegs in the hand. This part offsets, like I said before, so you take that, open it up a little bit. Now, to slap them together, you actually don't have to do anything over here, just these 2 parts down below. These offset, and then after that, you just want to clasp them together. And it looks rather intimidating. It looks like this, and it seems like they actually got it right. It's not overly bulky, and it kind of reminds me of the Endless Waltz version, the movie version. You can collapse one of these down and then have them holding it with one of these handles. And in terms of a stand or an extra accessory we have this display base. This is actually from the original Wing Gundam Zero Endless Waltz OVA or movie version release. So this is really standard to a lot of people. It's identical up until this point up here, but there are some differences with this kit. They give you some connection bits right here. We get a connection bit right here to put to the action base. You've seen this many times before. Also, you do get a part for Neo Bird Mode. You put this on and it cradles it decently. This actually connects to this part. And lastly, we get the one for this is the one you want to be using the most, at least in my opinion. If it can focus. Right here, you put it in as well, and it cradles it decently. This plugs into the backpack, and this is the one that's not going to grow in the crotch. This is going to go in the backpack, so this actually looks really nice, and kind of suspends it in air. Alright, you also get a small figure of Hiroyui in white, also with the base down here. It's rather tiny, so if you do have good painting skills, go right ahead. If not, just put him in a bag or something. Alright guys, that concludes part 2 of the review for the Master Grade Wing Gundam Proto Zero. Now I hope you guys liked it, and be sure to come back in the next part when we see how all of this actually works, and hopefully it can do poses like that guy over there. I'm just hoping right now. My name is Dr. Tony Chopper, and I will see you guys then. Peace out, guys.